Hello everyone, this is Travis again. Just figured I'd show you guys my winter project. It's been on my bucket list for a while. It's a John Deere tractor. It's actually now the oldest one I own. It's a 1931 John Deere GP large bore tractor. I picked it up here right before winter, and it was not a runner. Motor was loose, but it needed a lot of work. Carb still needs a little tweaking here and there. I figured I'd dig it out today though and work it a little bit and pulling my roller around here, doing a little bit of trying to get some of the stone packed down. It's working so half. I should have waited to a little bit wetter day maybe. But yeah, this is what I got. I got it for a pretty good deal. Kind of unique. I think they only made around 6,400 of the large bore John Deeres. That makes this thing a bit of an oddball, because I believe they produced them from 1928 to 1934, with the 28 through 1930, the small bore tractor, which is a 5 3/4 inch bore, and from 1931 to 1934, they increased the bore from 5 3/4 to a 6 inch. It was their attempt to try and get more horsepower out of the tractor. I think it took it from 22 to 20, I think about 25 horse is what it's rated at. I dynoed this one here at 27. But this was also John Deere's first attempt at a row cropper. This would have worked side by side with the John Deere D. Now the D was more for pulling plows and that kind of stuff, where the GP was more for going in between rows. The GP had a slightly smaller motor in it. I think it's 341 cubic inch or somewhere around there, while the D was around 498. This thing also sat up a little bit higher. But see, John Deere built this tractor to actually compete with the Farmall Regular. And because of this tractor being so bulky, and between 22 and 25 horse isn't a whole lot for its size, so they never really sold all that well. So they were almost sold out like 3 to 1 or better compared to the Farmall Regular. So these John Deere considered, the GPs in general, were considered a failed design by the company. But it also makes them a bit of a neat piece. This one I had to put a radiator in it. Original radiator. I had it working for a short while, but I had it held together with a bunch of radiator stop leak, and it was getting worse slowly. It worked for about half a month or so. I got to stop leaking, but it just got to the point where it wasn't worth it trying to me trying to play around keeping the radiator band-aided. So I went out and bit the bullet and spent the $400 something for a radiator port. Oh, we get that pulley spinning. The only other mechanical problem this thing has is behind the flywheel. It leaks a little bit of oil. I think the seal back air, or the felt seal, or whatever's back air is leaking a little. But it hasn't gotten to the point where I'm actually going to worry about it. I figured it's old. It deserves to leak a little bit. I'd be pretty tired too at 90. I believe this is around 95 years old now. So this thing's almost 100. This is the first real use I've used it for. This one would have had a PTO shaft. It's actually got back there. That actually would have ran a shaft out to here somewhere. You know, you could have run your attachments off of it. I gotta find the rest of it. Here you got you want your brake gear and a brake over there, and up above there is how you turn your PTO on and off. Now this one here, it's got a 3-speed transmission, low, 3/4 reverse, high, and intermediate. This one here's also got the throttle is right here on this one. This side here would have been for advancing or retarding your spark on the original magneto. This one does not have the original mag. I'd like to find one at some point though. And it's normal on your 2-cylinder John Deere's clutch. Here's something that's also unique. The GPs never came with an oil filter, unless you paid a little bit extra. Then you could have got this. Whoever bought this tractor had a few extra bucks to spend. And the way I take it, all the dirty oil that's running through this engine collects in this, and all the dirt falls to the bottom of it. And about every 10 or 12 hours, you're supposed to empty this out. Underneath there's like a little pipe plug nipple you can pull out. This right here, you can pull up and down. It sort of cleans the inside of it and pushes all your gunk to the bottom. Then what you do, you refill it with oil again, or that's how I take it. I've only done it a handful of times since I've owned it. So, let's take it for a spin.